Yes. So, as Andrew mentioned, I will be talking about the playoff series between the Houston Dynamo and FC Dallas, with most of the focus on the second leg of this home and away affair. No special sources outside of, on this one, mainly just through Wikipedia and Transfer Market. But if you listen to our episode on the Rico Stomp, which I believe should be like two history episodes back, this is basically going to be like a part two. It's a completely different game from the Rico Stomp game, but it's the next chapter in the Houston Dallas rivalry. This time, even more at stake because they're meeting in the playoffs. So let's quickly recap the end of the regular season for the two sides. So when the two sides met at the Rico Stomp game, Houston was 2 points behind Chivas USA for top of the West, while Dallas was 5 points behind Houston. With the massive win for Houston, it helped them secure a place above their rivals Dallas in the standings. However, they were not able to catch Chivas for top in the West, missing out by 1 point in the end. The Western Conference finished with Houston second and Dallas third, with Dallas being the wild card team with the most points, which meant we were getting another round of the Houston Dallas rivalry so soon after the last game in that regular season. Considering the two games were so close together, I have to imagine the tension and animosity between the sides was still ripe going into this matchup. Game one saw Houston travel to Pizza Hut Park, what a great name, in Frisco, Texas, to kick things off with Dallas at home, looking to get the two-legged series off to a good start. Who else would make the first moment of the game when in the 19th minute, Carlos Ruiz would swing a hand and hit Eddie Robinson in the face, earning the first yellow card of the series. If you remember anything from the Rico Stomp episode, you would know this is exactly how Carlos Ruiz plays. And it's ultimately what got Rico to snap. Would there be another incident like that again in this series, especially with Ruiz already causing some trouble so early on? You'll have to wait and find out. Not long after that, we would have the first goal of the series. A super long throw in sees Adrian Saru absolutely bomb a ball into the box, where Cochran makes a meal of clearing the ball, leaving Clarence Goodson wide open with the ball right in front of the goal, allowing Goodson to bury it. Goodson blasts it past a helpless Pat Onstad to see Dallas take the lead at home. In the 88th minute, Houston would have their best chance in the game after a point blank shot is saved by Dario Sala, with the follow up by De Rosario blasted wide. The game would end 1-0 to Dallas, meaning Dallas did the job at home and would carry the aggregate lead heading back to Houston. Houston would host Dallas at Robertson Stadium, and this is where the fun begins. We kick things off early with a long ball finding the head of Kenny Cooper, who heads it across the box to a wide open Carlos Ruiz, who does Carlos Ruiz type things and slams the ball past Onstad, giving them a 1-0 lead in the game and a 2-0 lead in the aggregate. Absolute best start you can imagine if you're a Dallas fan. Houston never dies, though, so Dallas will have to stay on their best. In the 46th minute, a nothing ball heads towards the corner flag with one Houston and one Dallas player chasing after and ushering the ball out of play. Arturo Alvarez is the Dallas player in this case chasing down the ball. After the ball goes out of play, Alvarez throws what I think was an elbow into the stomach of the Houston player, who immediately buckles over in pain on the ground. The referee rushes over and with no hesitation gives Alvarez a straight red card. It's an absolute bonehead play with your team winning in aggregate and away from home. Dallas now has to play an entire half a man down, with Houston smelling blood in the water. In the 66th minute, a floated ball into the box finds who else but Brian Ching, who heads the ball into the box for a wide open Stu Holden, who volleys the shot into the bottom left of the goal, making the game 1-1. While the score in the game is tied, the aggregate is still in favor of Dallas, meaning the job is not done for Houston, but the door is certainly wide open for the comeback. Can Dallas really deal with another 25 minutes of pressure from the defending champions? Houston would not waste any time in making it level on aggregate, as in the 71st minute, Ching would make a run in behind while De Rosario would play a lovely pass to him at the exact same time, allowing Ching to beat Ray Burse in the 1v1. There's plenty of time left for Houston to come back and find a winner before the game even gets to extra time. However, Dallas would bunker down and hold them off, meaning that the game would indeed go to extra time. Houston being a man up and with all of the momentum has to be the favorites. And at this point, it would take a Dallas miracle to win the series. But if there is one thing we love to talk about in our history segments, it's a miracle. Unfortunately for Dallas fans, there's no miracle here. As in the 5th minute of extra time, Dallas's defense would completely fall apart as Mullins' cross would find Joseph Nguyen, who mishandles the touch. But don't worry, the Dallas defense was too busy looking for an offside call that the mishandle falls right to Brian Ching, who is wide open to score and give Houston the lead. And wouldn't you know it, nobody was offside. Luckily for Dallas, this isn't golden goal, so they can still technically come back and win with 2 goals or score 1 goal and hope to take it to pens. But things are definitely looking bleak for Dallas. To put the nail in the FC Dallas coffin, in the 10th minute of extra time, Brad Davis with a free kick from the 12-yard line. And yes, I said 12-yard line because they're literally playing on a football field. Rifles one past Ray Burse to make it 4-2 on aggregate and put the game to bed. While the scoreline was set in stone, there was a little bit of action still left in this game, as in the last few minutes of extra time, Dallas's Drew Moore and Pablo Ricchetti picked up yellow cards for repeated fouling and dissent, respectively, with this being the second yellow card for Drew Moore, meaning Dallas collapse ends the same way it began, with a player sent off. Houston would get the job done at home with a little bit of help from some Dallas players to seal the deal. As we've discussed previously, Houston would go on to beat KC in the Western Conference Finals and further go on to beat the New England Revolution in the finals to become one of the very few teams in MLS history to win back-to-back MLS Cups, not to mention also doing it in the first 2 seasons of the Houston Dynamo's existence. Another chapter in the riveting story of the Houston-Dallas rivalry has come to a close, with Houston picking up yet another win.